and he works as hard as anybody and I've ever seen. He's the manager for the Shades of Blue. Ladies and gentlemen, 41. Y'all give it up for Scotty Avig.
Scotty, you are the entrepreneur extraordinaire dealing with a variety of things, but here you are advancing your dad's legacy as well as others. How did you get into this?
Well, you know, I've been a fan of my dad since I can remember as a little kid. And once I got to the point where I was older and I went to college and I understood business, my dad asked me to manage the Shades of Blue. And so I was going to all the shows anyway as a fan, so I knew everything about it. I knew the history, I knew the shows. So then I started booking gigs for these guys. And I was able to do that, worked hard, put my passion into it, really because of my dad. It made me, you know, do any and everything to get his group concerts and shows and perform with every major artist in every major city. So I was doing that for about 3 or 4 years. And then I said, you know, we work for these promoters, and I'm thinking how they're putting these shows on. And I said to myself, you know, if these guys can do it, why can't I? Sure. And then I started saying, wait a minute, aside from managing my dad in the Shades of Blue, I'm gonna promote shows. So I started putting my own shows together. I started working with great guys like Chuck Stroud in the White Swan Ballroom and helping him put these shows together. And so now I have 5 different venues in 5 different cities, and we do about 30 dates a year. The first show I put together was a lot of the guys from Detroit that I knew since I was a kid. The Contours, the Marvelettes, the Vandellas, Spider Turner, all these acts that were from Detroit. And then I just started to branch out, you know, I've been, in the past 2 or 3 years, I've hired the Temptations. I've hired Gary Lewis and the Playboys, the Spinners, the Stylistics, you know, the Coasters, the Drifters, you name it. The who's who in the 50s and 60s and even early 70s I've had. That's the challenge. That's the challenge that we're all running into, is that we're advertising and we're selling a genre of music to people who are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. And what's happening is, unfortunately, the crowds are getting smaller and smaller. So the challenge that I have as a promoter is, how do I continue to put butts in seats and give them a brand of music that I'm accustomed to, that they're accustomed to, and that's becoming a challenge. So, you know, I go from a group like, let's say, the Drifters and the Coasters, to now I'm doing Jay and the Americans and Gary Lewis and the Playboys. So I move up 6, 7 years, if that makes any sense.
You guys are giving you the best concerts that you can get anywhere close to this area for at least 7 or 8 years. First and foremost, I want to give it up for these couple that have been entertaining you for 7 or 8 years.
How did you get in touch with Chuck Stroud here at the White Swan?
You know, I'm a good friend with Walt Maddox of the Marcells. And one of the very first shows Chuck did here was with the Marcells. And Walt always looks out for me, I've looked out for him. He's gotten us jobs, I've gotten him jobs. So Walt told Chuck, after Chuck had him, you know, there's other groups out there you can use. You know, get in touch with Scotty out of Detroit. He's the manager of the Shades of Blue. His dad's in the group, and he also puts on concerts. So Chuck called me, and we had a great conversation. He said, Scotty, I'm going to give you a shot to come out here. I want to see the group. So we had the Shades of Blue. We opened for the Marcells, and he liked the group. And I told him, I said, listen, I can get you anybody you want at a much inexpensive, much better price than you can get them, because I give them so many dates. So I can get them here. I'll take care of all the business for you. All you got to do is pay them and lodge them, but I'll take care of everything else. And we're going on 6 years, and we brought any and everybody here. It's been a great partnership. I love Chuck.
To be commended.
God bless
with
you.
Your energy.
Yeah.
Where did you learn the dancing moves?
You know what? I've been a huge, well, my dad's my #1 idol. After my dad, biggest Michael Jackson fan in the world. So I've been following that guy since I was a little kid, and always try to do what he does. I can't do it, but so I always had a little rhythm. I wouldn't say I'm a great dancer because I don't do it enough, but I have natural rhythm. And then when you get on stage, the adrenaline just takes me to a different place. So I'm still having fun with it.
I know
Thank
you got
you.
a big program.
No, God bless you. Thank you for always supporting us too. I appreciate it.
I enjoyed ever so much. Thank you.
You got it.
We can do that.
Look good, still. Look good.
How we doing? Who we talking to?
You're doing great. Fantastic. Great job.
This is the Breakfast of Champions.
Have a good performance.
Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for allowing us to make it here safely. Father, we thank you for all of our many, many blessings. We wish that you would bless those who are less fortunate than we are. Father, we just want to say thank you. Thank you, and give us the voices and the stamina to do what we have to do tonight. Father, everything's going to be all right. In your name we pray. Amen.
Smile. Give me a show.
He right off the step.
Night or day, they're just not matching what they should do.